everybody. Welcome back to Terps Esports. Live from College Park, my name is Lily. And tonight's game will be a regular season best of 3, meaning that the first team to achieve 2 map wins will also win the series. And we're running into technical difficulties on the broadcast, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hey everybody, welcome back to Terps Esports. Thanks for bearing with us on that brief technical difficulty. Live from College Park, my name is Lily.
And my name is Bree. And what a better way to summon the spooky spirit of Halloween with another night of Valorant chaos. But tonight, the screams aren't from fear. They're from the Terps GC Premier team, bringing some fierce competition into the studio tonight. The Terps will be taking on Syracuse University.
And tonight's game will be a regular season best of 3, meaning the first team to achieve 2 map wins will also win the series. In tonight's very special Halloween themed pre-show, we'll introduce you to the team and take a look at their stats. But we will also get a chance to chat with each of the players and take a look at their super cool costumes.
Before we jump into the game, let's start with your rules of a typical Valorant match. If you've never played the game before, Valorant is an objective-based FPS game where teams of 5 players compete in 2 12-round cycles against each other. The main objectives of the game is to plant the spike, defend the spike, manage economies, and create strategic plans to dominate each round.
Tonight, like Bree mentioned, the Terps are going up against Syracuse. Syracuse is currently 2-5, and our Terps actually match that with the same exact record. So tonight's game will tip the balance for one of these teams to give them a winning record.
The last time the GC Premier team was in the studio, they won 2-0 against UNI Purple. If they can bring that same energy back tonight, Syracuse might be in trouble. Like Lily said, both teams are hungry for that winning record, but the Terps got the skill, chemistry, and the drive. Let's wish them luck tonight.
And now it's time for us to introduce you to the members of this team. We're also going to take a look at their stats and describe their specific roles within the team.
Thanks, Lily. Starting off, we have Kiko as the team's fearless duelist. Kiko's role is all about creating space, taking aggressive fights, and setting the tempo for every round. She's bringing the heat with an ACS of 172, an ADR of 125, and while her KD sits at 0.84, don't let that fool you. Her fearless aggression and sacrifices for the team sets them up for the rest of the round.
All right, coming up next, we have Savani as the team's flex player. She's coming in with an ACS of 192, an ADR of 131, and a KD of 1.11. Her role as a flex player is what gives the team's composition such depth. She always surprises us in the studio with her agent selections and with her high-risk, high-reward plays.
Carrots is the team's controller. She has an ACS of 191, an ADR of 136, and a KD of 1.08. As a controller, Carrots' main job is to secure sites on the attack and hold down the fort on defense. Where and when she decides to place her smokes will heavily influence the outcome of each round.
Next on the roster is Soap. She is the team's sentinel, meaning she is the group's defensive expert. She's got an ACS of 226, which is the highest of her team, an ADR of 155, and a KD of 1.19. Her role is to keep an eye on the other team's movements and use her utility to make the team aware of any sneaky flanks.
Now, our final player is Trace. She's super important and an important addition to this roster. So let's take a close look at her stats up on the screen.
All right, so to close things out, we've got Trace. She's got an ACS of 151, an ADR of 107, and a KD of 1.05, which is actually the highest KD of her team. And she is the team's initiator, which means the team is relying on Trace to use her utility in order to make fights more favorable. And she also plays a super important role in gathering information for the rest of her team to work off of. So now that we've got the stats out of the way, we have got a super fun Halloween segment of the pre-show for you all tonight. We are gonna get the chance to talk to each of our wonderful players and also take a look at their epic Halloween costumes. And to kick things off, I would like to welcome Kiko to the studio.
Hello.
How are you doing on this Halloween Eve?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. So tell us, what are you dressed as tonight?
Today, I'm dressed as Cooking Mama.
I love your costume. It's adorable. And in your opinion, what is the best and the worst Halloween candy?
The best Halloween candy is anything Reese's related, and the worst is probably Twist.
Okay, peanut butter enjoyer. I see, I see. And last but not least, tell me, what is your favorite Halloween tradition?
Well, my cat's birthday also falls on Halloween, so I like to celebrate Halloween by staying in, getting food, and just having a good time with him.
Do you dress your cat up?
Yes, every Halloween we dress our cat up as in a new costume. This year he's going to be a sushi roll.
I love that. Please send me pictures. That is
I will.
adorable. Well, thanks for joining us in the studio. Good luck on your game.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Savani joining us in the studio. Hi, Savani. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. So tell us, what are you dressed up as?
I'm a cat.
Love it. You know, you can't go wrong with the classics. So what is the best and worst Halloween candy in your opinion?
The best candy is Milky Way, and the worst is candy corn.
Really? How do you feel about Almond Joy? I know we were talking about Almond Joy before.
I hate Almond Joy.
That's valid in my opinion. I don't like Almond Joy either. But last but not least, what is your favorite Halloween tradition?
I like the free candy, so yeah.
You go trick-or-treating?
No, I just like the free candy that's out. I'll just take it.
Very valid, very valid. Well, thanks for joining us. Good luck in tonight's match.
Thank you.
Yes. So we had some really cool costumes so far, and that theme will continue with our next player. We're going to welcome in the studio, Trace. Hi, Trace. How are you?
I'm good.
So what are you dressed as tonight?
I am a bunny tonight, as you can see.
Love it. Sticking with that classic theme, just like Savani. So tell me, what is the best and worst Halloween candy?
Honestly, the best one I think is Twix or Kit Kats, and I hate candy corn. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I also don't like candy corn. No, Twix is so good. I love a good
agree.
Twix bar for sure. And tell me, what is your favorite Halloween tradition?
Honestly, I just love seeing everyone in so many different costumes.
For sure, it's been super fun to see all of you guys in such cool costumes tonight. You guys really brought it here in the studio. So thanks so much for joining me for that quick little chat, and we'll move on to our next player shortly. And these players take Halloween seriously, so it's super fun to have them in the studio tonight, the night before Halloween. And next up, we have Soap. Hi, Soap. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing? Are you excited for tonight's match?
Yeah, I am.
So what are you dressed up as?
I'm a skeleton.
Nice. I like your makeup. It's very cool.
Thank you. It took forever.
I'm sure it did, but it's worth it. It looks epic. So what is the best and worst Halloween candy?
I like Sour Patch Kids, and I don't like Almond Joys.
Okay. Not a big chocolate enjoyer in general, or just not almond joy?
Yeah, not a big chocolate enjoyer in general.
And what is your favorite Halloween tradition?
Probably eating enough candy to feel sick.
Because that's the whole point of the holiday.
Exactly, yeah.
Of course. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck in tonight's match.
Thank you so much.
All right, we only have one player left, and this is a player that always goes hard for Halloween. I always appreciate her dedication in her costumes. We have Carrots. Hi, Carrots.
Hi.
Welcome. How are you doing? Are you excited for tonight's match?
I'm doing really good. Yeah, I'm really excited for tonight's match.
I am as well. So tell us, what are you dressed as?
I'm dressed up as Harley Quinn, as everyone knows. I have a bat as well.
Yes, I love your commitment. Every year you go so hard for Halloween, and this year is no exception. So what is your favorite and least favorite Halloween candy?
I would say my favorite is definitely Twix. I love chocolate. And my least favorite would be Twizzlers.
Okay, Twix is a common theme. Maybe next Halloween I'll bring some Twix in the studio for you all.
That'd be great.
So what is your favorite Halloween tradition?
My favorite Halloween tradition, I think very obviously, is dressing up. Costumes all the time. I always get prepared like a month early. So
That's honestly amazing. I know like most of us in college here are just scrapping things together at the last second, but your dedication to the holiday is amazing.
Thank you.
So thanks so much for joining us for a quick little interview, and best of luck in tonight's match.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the action after a brief commercial break.
I'm Greg, also known as Sind, and I'm an initiator player for the VAL Premier Team.
I'm Kazu, and I go by NJV, and I'm the coach for the team.
I'm Richard, and I go by Pickle Richard, and I'm the duelist player.
Pretty fun. I definitely liked all the guys I was playing with. It's fun to get in the server with them. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge balancing it with other things, but
Yeah.
it's definitely something that I enjoy doing a lot.
Yeah, making like all the friends that we made through this team, so it really makes me happy. So it's like really awesome that we did this.
Yeah, I think I had really fun times on this team. I played well every single game.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I think my favorite moment was map 5. I think that was a really fun match.
The
Yeah.
grand finals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the
was
grand
fun.
final. Yeah.
Remember what map it was?
I don't remember that.
Oh, it was Sunset. Yeah,
Sunset.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you played Rays.
Yeah, I played Rays.
Yeah, no, that map was really intense. Like, it was super, super hard. The pressure was definitely on. Like, it was super late at night. It was like midnight or
It
something.
was very late. It was really late.
1 a.m. or
Like, my favorite one was probably the first match of the season.
Oh yeah.
First time in the studio together.
Oh, in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. It
That
was
was
like
fun.
fun seeing all the Academy boys in the studio. So that was sick. Yeah.
My personal goal is I think I'm gonna try to hit Radiant this season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. It's,
Yeah.
I think it's definitely to win Big Ten right now, and then place top 8 in CVAL. That's our goal.
Top 8 CVAL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big Ten is definitely the thing I'm most interested in seeing.
Mhm.
I'm not flying out, but hopefully, or the boys do well over
Hopefully
it.
we win.
Where is it?
I-
OSU? Ohio State?
Yeah, in Ohio.
Ohio.
I promise at least second place.
At least second place? I think we can win it.
I think we can win it too.
I think we can.
We gotta
win
be
Big Ten.
humble.
Everyone, yeah, we just we can't get complacent.
Can't get
Yeah.
complacent. Never that.
That's a good one.
Go ahead.
Honestly, like unironically, I think Kazu is a very fun person to have in the program as like an emotional leader. Even though he doesn't always Sometimes things can get a little disorganized with Kazu at the helm.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
For as much flack as we give him for being terrible at the game, he's actually
Yeah, if you watch our
He's
games
actually a very
while
good
I
coach.
play, you'll be surprised. Like, I hear House is guy my coach a lot.
Yeah.
Like a weird amount of time.
but I think Kazu's a great addition for him. I love that.
Yeah, I love
He's
having
great.
him here.
You love Valorant.
He's very wholesome.
He is very awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's radiant. Remember that.
I'm ready to remember that.
Yeah, and his timeouts have improved a lot too. As someone who's seen him coach over the last like 2.5 years.
Yeah, I coached
Your
him
old
for a while.
timeouts were.
Yeah, that was when I was
great.
a little baby boy coach.
Yeah, but now he's improved a lot.
Yeah.
I really like having him as a coach.
Thank you, Gregory. Wow, this is great. Let's do this more often.
That's the most praise you've ever heard.
He got an ego boost for free today.
That was awesome.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're about to head into this Halloween best of 3 shortly, and I believe Bree has our map picks for us.
So our first map for today is going to be Abyss, and we have seen the Terps GC play Abyss quite a few times. I know it's not too favorable for them, that is for sure. From what I remember, I know on attack side, B is not our friend, and neither is A. So hopefully they were able to scrim and learn some new strategies for this oncoming game. And I believe we are already in game as well, so I'm excited to see if we have some familiar picks that we have going on. I think Trace Carrots might be on Chamber, because the last time we had a Biz, she was most definitely on Chamber and she popped off as per usual. So I'm hoping to see that on this spooky night of Halloween Eve.
Yes, and actually I have our records on our map. So Abyss, we are 0-1 on Abyss, so we have yet to win on that map pick. So very excited to see if we can actually start to pull off a win there. And then map number 2, we will get to map number 2, and it will be on Split, which we are 0-0 in. But like Bree said, here we are in game already. Spike is planted, actually. The Terps are on the attack here, and they're gonna have to pull off a retake onto B site. And just by the technical difficulties, we're not getting audio on the stream as of now, so just bear with us on that as Savani's doing her thing and entering onto the site.
And the Terps against Syracuse is already going pretty well. They do have better numbers, as we already went ahead and took that round home for the win already. And again, what we've noticed here in the Terps GC team is that when we start winning our pistol rounds, we do end up succeeding a little farther into the game. And because of that, I'm hoping that the Terps go ahead and do a little bit of a bonus buy going on from the next few rounds, and we can already assume that Syracuse is going to go ahead and force as well or save. So either way, the Terps are in a better standing against them, and it's going to take us much farther for this attacking side.
For sure, and I would expect to see a buy here from the Terps and a save from Syracuse, because map number 1, no one's super dire to win this map, because usually you only see a 4-second round after you lose round 1 if it's a must-win situation for you, especially on the half switch, or even if you're on the last map. But here we should see all of our plays be pretty much as expected, so should be another round 1 for the Terps if they play their gun advantage right.
Yeah, and it looked like from that first round, that little few seconds we got to see, is that they kind of defaulted a little bit in a way. They kind of started off B, and then from there they just ended up getting their picks and winning their fights. And I don't think they got to end up planting the spike, did they? But either way, they won the round, and it went great, and it's good from there. So hopefully we can get a little bit more money by planting in that spike and just win against Syracuse, because honestly, if you lose the second round on pistol round after winning the first, it hurts a little bit inside, and it's not fun for anybody on the team at all.
Yeah, just use up your economy, because you kind of bank on winning that second round, buying up, and if you don't, you have a bit of an uphill battle to fight in terms of what your economy is looking like. So just once again, bear with us, having a little bit of technical difficulties. The Terps are in game, and we'll get back to the game shortly. We're trying to get audio in for you guys, so bear with us on that. But it was super fun to see everyone's Halloween costumes.
Did you have a favorite so far?
Honestly, Carrots just always commits to the bit. Every single year, she always just pulls out such an amazing costume. And actually, I do have an update, although we are in technical difficulties right now. I believe we just won round number 2 as well for the Terps. So we can at least report that to you guys for now. But how about you? Did you have a favorite costume?
Honestly, I actually really liked Kelly's costume. As simple as it was very effective. And I think she's like the perfect person to portray Cooking Mama. And like, I thought that her tradition for Halloween was very cute as well. Her cat's name Mimo. Being a sushi roll is like the best thing ever, and it's so cute that she ends up being Cooking Mama as well, because like I'm sure in one of the Cooking Mama games you end up making sushi or something. I don't know, but I thought it was super sweet. What I did notice was a lot of the players liked like Twix.
Yeah.
Twix. I mean, I love Twix too, but like, where's the candy, you know?
It's true. Twix is a good pick though, but here we are. Still don't have that audio for you guys, so just bear with us once again, but at least we have a visual here, but it's not a pretty visual for the Terps, as it is a quick and tragic round for the Terps at that, losing our bonus round off of the bye from Syracuse. So we will be at a 2-1 scoreline here for the Terps.
Yeah, and like I said, we did end up planning the spike, which I'm glad about. So we did get an extra, I believe, like 300, 400 to our economy. But you really don't want to lose that vital round, you know, especially now that it's 1-2. You really have to make sure we take this one home, because after that, the Terps are broke again and are forced to do another save round for the next round. And it's not fun, especially when you're attacking, because you're banking on those heavy guns. And with a map like Abyss, it's just really frustrating to not have that much, you know, ability and utility with you.
And the Terps, again, still on this attack. This time they're favoring the A site, where it's actually a pretty aggressive defense and a lot of utility in their way. They're also investing utility mid here to try and not let Soap scale up alongside Trace there. And it's doing a good job of kind of holding the Terps where they are for the moment. And Syracuse is being really patient and not over-rotating.
Yeah, and I haven't seen this kind of mid push from the Terps before, at least when they've been playing Abyss. And I'm liking it, and it's just showing that they've grown when it comes to playing Abyss, because this map is just genuinely no joke, and it's hard to work around. And here we have Kiko just, you know, being hidden here, breaking that door already. And I know Syracuse knows their locations here, but they're working their way up slowly through mid and B site. But obviously with all this commotion happening, I hope Kiko doesn't get to, you know, see a little bit of contact there and is able to win her fight. And can we talk about Savani playing Gecko? I don't think I've seen this quite yet, especially her flexing right now.
Yeah, and this is a fun thing with the flex position, is you can kind of play those unexpected agent pools. And it's just she's always just brings such a good energy to the studio, and she's always able to just do really fun, like high risk, high reward plays with an operator, with her agent selections. So we're still chugging along with no audio here, but the Terps are full sending this attack on to B site, where the Vice is set up, but it will be that Astra for Syracuse to get the first pick on to Kiko. And Trace gets picked off as well. The time is dwindling, the numbers are dwindling, everything is in desperation mode here for the Terps. They are pretty much not going to be able to get the spike planted in time, and they're looking at a round loss here to put it at a 2-2 scoreline.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate round here for the Terps, but at least hopefully Savani gets to save her gun. Unfortunately, I spoke too soon. Let's get a look here on their economy right now, and it looks like they might just have to save. Like I said at the beginning of the round, you need to win this next round, or else it's just like a repeating round of continuously saving and then forcing just a little bit, and then you just really need to rely on winning those rounds. But nonetheless, that mid push I thought was pretty effective. I feel like it could have gone much better, and that B push following right after could have just been, I don't know, I feel like a little more could have happened there. That wingman got shot down way too early in the or way too late in the round, and it cost them to prevent them from planting the spike.
For sure, and they just spent so much time in mid, like you were saying, that by the time they gained any site control, they had like 12 seconds left to plant the spike, and knowing that, Syracuse pushed their defense up and just stalled, and that's all they needed to do. But we are into the next round. Spike is already planted from the Terps, but look at where the defense is positioned. They are knocking on the door here. Savani and Trace Kiko gonna make first contact, and they both get killed by the Sova. And hallelujah, we have game audio. We are back in business in the studio, and Trace gets killed there. It's only a 1v4 4 here for Soap. If there's anyone who can do it though, it's her with the Sheriff in hand. She gets the first one and the second, but cannot quite land that last shot. Regardless, it's a great effort, but not enough to give them the win.
Yeah, but they did get closer onto this round compared to how they did last round. Spike was planted almost maybe like 30 to 45 seconds on, like, you know, into the round starting, and it did a little better for them. There was a little friendly fire there going for Syracuse as a player. I don't think it counted though. Fell off that bridge on Abyss. If it's one thing about Abyss, those gaps and those jumps are just so annoying to get around. But as we start on for this next round, it looks like they're going to do something very similar like they did just 2 rounds ago. And they're going to work their way up mid with only one hanging on to B. And actually, they're going to default instead. Let's take note this time and hope that they don't take too long here on to, you know, pushing up on through mid.
And they're going fast off rip. Actually, the Astra Smoke was placed deeper into mid than it was in that initial round. And we have 3 of our players here positioned into mid. Carrots gets a 2-piece to start this round off for the Terps. That's going to leave B free for the most part, as long as Kiko can deal with this Sova, and she just narrowly gets picked off, and so does Savani. This Sova has caused so many issues for the Terps, and the round is not over till it's over. While the Terps do have control of this B site, they have yet to plant the bomb.
Yeah, and I think I missed a Valorant update here. I don't remember those boxes being on B side, but I think this does a much better advantage here for these oncoming competitive games, because now people can't really hide behind those boxes when people are entering onto B main, and it's working just as well, because I've seen the Terps just get hit by being, you know, the enemy team hiding behind those boxes. But as this is dwindling down, as a 1v3 is happening here with Syracuse and the Terps, this Sova is left alone, but with an ultimate, but not worth using it just yet, as Soap is able to get a little bit of a wallbang there and finish off that round. And now we're even, and it's looking much, much better. The stakes are looking much better here for the Terps, as our economy looks much better as well.
And it's a beautiful round for Carrots there with a 3-piece that round. And also look at our economies. Our ultimate economy. We didn't use a single one of the 3 ultimates that we had going into that round. We've preserved all of them and managed to get away with that round win. That is going to be an important factor in these next couple of rounds.
Most definitely. And now it looks like they're going to do something a little different. They're just going to full send it onto B site, as Carrots is going to go ahead and put down that Astra wall, but they're waiting for a little bit of noise to come out before she goes ahead and throws in that wall, just making sure with that drone that nothing is left onto site, as Syracuse is very pushed far back, but Kiko, left alone on site, is just forced to go around and make sure that this team has a good entry. Like we said, this is her role. She's there to make sure that nobody is, you know, sneaking up on the rest of her teammates as they're coming onto site. And you can see she's locked in as she's about to get this pick here on that Vise. Unfortunately, gets picked off, but with Heaven being so open like that, there's not much you could really do about it.
And it's an expensive round for both sides. Crucial round to win here. The Terps have the numbers advantage. The Tejo ultimate is used to try and help the retake efforts. It works to get the pick onto Soap. That just leaves Carrots in a very risky scenario here. She has some util to work off. She's just going to play time, try and get into Tejo's head, throw a couple of bullets their way, and just let this bomb tick down all the way. Only a couple more seconds left that Carrots has to stall here to give the Terps a round win. The Tejo is sticking the bomb, gets off of it, but Carrots is ready to get that pick and push the Terps to 4 round wins. And what a great job from Carrots there, once again.
And I think you really want Carrots as your last person on that round, because honestly, she's smart and she knows when somebody's sticking and when they're not sticking at all. And honestly, if that were me, I would have just started spraying, because I cannot tell if somebody is just tapping the bomb or if they are actually going to stick the bomb. And with that timing, with her smoke about to disappear, it was just a beautiful execution by Carrots as always.
And a lot of ultimates invested into that round from both sides. And it's early aggression here as a trade comes through onto Soap, and just a fight early being taken here in this Tejo, getting a 3-piece for Syracuse. And so much utility is being dumped in the Terps' faces right now. We're backed up into our own spawn and don't have control of the spike as it stands.
Yeah, and already we've lost 3 of our Terps in the process, even though Soap got that first blood happening on that round. But we also we don't have Spike right now. They are watching. Syracuse is watching that thing like a hawk. Once that smoke dissipates, there's not really much to do. It's all up to one of us to either walk up and grab that Spike or maybe do a little bit of a wraparound, as I see Savani trying to do so as she's walking a little bit towards mid there, but just gonna retreat back here and hang out with Carrots as they're going to work up here together with, especially once the smoke dissipates again, guys. It's very scary to see, as unfortunately it looks like that this Teo is going to end up getting an ace here as Savani is able to get a pick, but good round for Syracuse, I will say. What a great ace from their Teo, but now we were back to being even 4-4 on the scoreboard.
And it's the Teo for Syracuse and the Sova have had two moments I think should kind of scare the Terps. You know, they've proven to be really great individual players and get 3 at a time, 4 at a time, 5 at a time like we just saw. So that's something that the Terps have to consider going into these rounds. And it looks like they're going to try the same A push as the last time.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that it does them a little better. Again, like I said, Soap was able to get a first blood going there, and it's the same setup that Syracuse ends up doing here on mid. You know, same dart that they expect. Kiko went ahead and did that ultimate there. She's about to run in onto site, hopefully grabs that kill, but unfortunately does not, as Savani's also going to end up using her ult here, but it's not looking good as the Terps aren't quite on site yet. They're getting pushed back with all of these utilities. Trace able to get 2 amazing picks, but she's holding on to the spike at the same time with just 30 HP to her name. The Terps are doing amazing so far here, already having 3 of the Syracuse players down. Make it 4. Goodness, guys, it's hard to count. Here we have a great cam here on Trace as they are just waiting just for that Vise to peek through and finish off this round.
Yeah, a great site take from the Terps, you know, not being afraid of that A site, which would have been very easy considering what had just happened in the round prior, but good job fighting your demons, going back to that A site and making it work this time.
Yeah, and it worked flawlessly like Lily just said. I'm hoping that they go back onto B this time because I feel like it was successful that one round, and honestly, you can't just keep spamming A. Like, honestly, I feel like Syracuse would end up catching on and end up stacking it, but even still, at least they know how to read them down mid here. They were going to expect that similar dart down mid from that Sova here and that same smoke. See, as Trace was able to luckily grab that before it detected anybody, and Kiko is always just going to walk up here quickly and slowly, but also quietly, and it's going pretty well for the Terps. Hopefully she catches this person off guard here, especially considering that they have just a Sheriff so far.
Oh, it's an early push from Kiko, but she does get picked by that Sheriff. Savani's trying to avenge her with a Phantom in hand, but has 2 in front of her, and it's just too much to deal with. She loses spike control for her team. That's a very crucial pick for Syracuse because they have their eyes all over that spike, and the Terps are shut out here into mid.
And it's an awkward spot for Spike to be onto as well. And mind you, Syracuse is saving right now. They have Sheriffs, and with the Terps having such heavy guns, they have a really big advantage here, so they really have no choice but to just win their gunfights, because honestly, that Spike is on lock so far, especially since Trace is about to get peeked by 2 of the players, is able to get that pick and the Spike at the same time as she runs into this Astra as well.
I really like that patience from Trace, not getting that pick, the second pick on the Sova, and letting Soap to get that pick later on when she has a better angle. Now, suddenly, this round has flipped completely. The Terps have got Spike control, and they have site control as well here, and they're going to be able to plant this spike and have plenty of time to set up a high-low, a crossfire, something to make this round unwinnable for the Waylay. But you know, it's not over till it's over. The Waylay has decent amount of utility to work with here, but the Terps should know her positioning based off of that Vice Molly that we saw get triggered. So the Terps just have to do their job here, be patient, wait for that swing to come through on their end as the Waylay's trying to be super quiet and sneaky. Is Soap gonna get a visual? I don't think so. Carrots into astral form actually, and she gets killed as a result. And now Soap has to act quickly here. The bomb is being defused. Is she gonna get there in time? Swings and does not get that last pick, but did she buy her enough time? No, not quite. It's a tough round loss for the Terps. You really want to see them come away with those.
That's the sad reality of just planting safe, especially after a bloodbath that happened down mid. You don't want to risk your life at all, which is why the Terps ended up having to plant safe and not open, and it ended up costing them that round. And again, you never know if people are ever going to, well, you never know how to tell if somebody's going to stick or if they're on something, especially with just a few seconds. And if that Syracuse player did not end up having that spike, we most definitely would have had that round.
Yeah, allowing that Syracuse player to half the spike was the difference of the round, like you mentioned. And I don't think they knew their positioning super well after triggering that Vice Molly. So this round for the Terps with an even score line at 5-5, they're doing their bit. They're going up into mid, just seeing what utilities there, but they're pretty spread out. They're defaulting here.
Yeah, and Spike is also moving with them as Savani is holding it. They backed out from mid this time. It looked like they were doing what they did last round, something that, they've been comfortable doing for the past few rounds, and it just didn't look like it was the move as the Terps are favoring more towards A here. Carrot's still hanging out on B, and little do the Terps know B is basically empty and would be a great site to push, but it's just so hard to tell with just Terps moving slowly and, like you said, just defaulting. They're just trying to make good decisions because honestly, at this point, we've been been very even back and forth between Syracuse and the Terps, and it's not fun to see. So we want to make sure that we end up getting, winning this round, as Carrots is going to do that same wall she did last time. And mind you, this wall saved us. So hopefully we're able to win this round yet again.
Yeah, the Terps trying to hold their cards close to their chest in the early round. Well, now everything's laid out on the table with those two ultimates invested for the Terps. Soap dies quickly after using her ultimate, but Carrot's wall is still up and in good position here. But now we see the three enemy ultimates being used on this site to just overwhelm the Terps, and that's exactly what it ends up doing. Just Trace is alive with that Sova ultimate in hand, trying to buy time, but they're on the spike and they're going to defuse it. Man, that was just a complete ultimate overload.
A lot was happening that round, and I'm not sure if they're just messing around. They're just trying to see who's going to, diffuse that spike and get the extra ult point. But even still, I feel like that round was executed perfectly for the Terps, but it's really just about defending the spike, and post plan is just so difficult, especially on B side. With, like you said, that bloodbath of ultimates being used was just a lot to counter all within those last few minutes of the spike ticking down.
And hey, it's tough to be in the middle of that ultimate storm, but now that the clouds have cleared a little bit, they only have one ultimate going for them. If there's any sort of silver lining here for the Terps.
And we are already 6-5 against. I'm hoping that we're able to at least go 6-6 for this next coming round, and it would set us at a pretty good spot for the half of the game already before we end up switching sides. And this time the Terps are defaulting yet again, but this time they're just expecting a push here, especially with how close that Waylay is already up A main, and it's getting aggressive here, and the Terps can smell that. They can see that, and they're already relying on Soap here to kind of wrap around through mid. Hopefully she's able to get that pick already to meet up with the rest of her team, but the rest of the Terps have to focus on getting onto A site to begin with, because this time we don't have Carrots on B site just waiting for somebody to make a presence. It's just all a waiting game yet again, as Syracuse is just using a plethora of their utility on the A main.
Yeah, I did not like how A-Site was looking for the Terps. I really hope the play call here is to rotate or at least draw some of those defenders off, because there are three of them sat on this A-Site and the Terps still look like they're going to go there. I don't like this for the Terps. It's scary. Soap trying to get things started though, and is not able to make any of that space there into mid. This is going to be an uphill battle for the Terps as they're trying to invest some utility on this site, but there's three defenders back site with Kiko, Trace, Carrots, everybody getting instantly killed. That was a scary round for sure.
Yeah, even if we lost that round, I think we're still at a pretty good spot. I mean, considering we were attacking on Abyss already, 7 and 5 is a good middle ground to switch onto a defending side. And honestly, the Terps are really good at defending when it comes to Abyss. So either way, I think they'll be able to sniff out how Syracuse is going to go ahead and attack these sites and how they're going to approach going down mid. And they have similar agents on each team, so I think some of these plays are going to be pretty expected. And with that, being able to sniff that out is very, very, very common.
All right, it's pretty much neck and neck. We knew this was going to be like a really close game, just even based on both the teams having the exact same record. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. But if there's any chance for the Terps to flip the script, it is here on the pistol round as they have transitioned to defense. And Syracuse looks like they're pulling a UMD here. They're playing in very similar positionings. They're playing mid in a very similar fashion. Kiko going to be able to sniff that out with the jump peek there. This is looking very reminiscent of a Terps attack.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It's very, they'll be able to sniff out these similar plays that they already have going on. Carrot's already 13 HP with only 30 seconds into the round. Savani thankfully was able to grab that pick onto their Vise, and now that was the only person on B. So now it's all time for Syracuse to go ahead and retreat onto A, as they know it's a little open, but there's just so much utility on that site. So they're just running it down, but they're still getting hit with all this utility. It's a bloodbath. It's not looking good.
Spike Planter killed UMD, doing a really good job at buying time here. Although they've given up sight, they're not going down without a fight, throwing a ton of util on the site. Trades go back and forth. Savani gets one with a Sheriff in hand and make that a 2-piece for Carrots on the retake. And that's exactly how the Terps needed to start off their round on the half switch.
What really shocked me is that I'm pretty sure Syracuse used the same wall on attack that the Terps use, that same Vise wall that prevents flanking from happening, and it alerts the Vise if that wall gets triggered. But it's almost like mirrored. Like, I'm kind of getting confused here with how Syracuse is playing, because it's almost like I'm watching the Terps again. But let's hope that the Terps don't do the same thing last round and lose this second pistol round, especially since they just won. So either way, we have a crazy B push. They decided to flip it just a little bit with only one person going on to A site, with the rest of Syracuse just waiting for like a cue to just go ahead and push on to that B site. But they're very, very patient. Little do they know the Terps is the exact same way. I don't think anybody's gonna move until they hear some movement or some noise happening.
And you feel like you would almost expect that Sova that's lurking mid for Syracuse to throw a dart on A, throw a fake or something, but it's just a stalemate right now, like on either side of this B site. And it does look like it will be Syracuse to make the first push. They are on attack, so that's what we'd expect. But how will the Terps respond is the question. Terps getting a little bit suspicious here with those Astra Stars being placed. Gonna make matters worse by Syracuse fully going onto the site. Guns blazing. They take down Kiko, Savani, Trace with a Bulldog, able to respond and hold a little bit of ground for the Terps and buy some time for Soap and Carrots to make their way onto the site to help out Trace. But they're on the wrong side of the site. The spike is going to be planted, and the Terps now have only a couple seconds here to respond.
Yeah, and that spike is planted safe, so it's not like it's out in the open for the Terps to go ahead and do like a little bit of a ring around the rosy to, try and defuse. But Trace has a clear line of where this spike is at, as we have Soap trying to tap it, doing a little bit of ring around the rosy, and able to win that round. We are looking good yet again here for the Terps. We are 7-7 now, and it's gonna be a back and forth race yet again, just losing a round and then winning a round, making us even and whatnot. Just, I think now that we can see how Syracuse is playing as an attacking side, we can most definitely just expect what they're gonna pull next for these next coming rounds.
And that was a really great round for the Terps. It looked kind of scary once we lost control of that B site, but I really like the way that Trace played that. She got a pick, but didn't get sell herself out too much, and she backed up just at the right time to buy some time for Soap and Carrots to help her out there, and that's exactly what she needed to do. So super smart play from Trace there.
We do have basically almost a full push happening on the B site with no Terp there. Trace is heaven, but she is hidden by their Astra smoke, and either way, Terps are just going to have to wait for them to go ahead and plant the spike, because you don't want to be peeking out, especially if all of Syracuse is just staring at every entryway possible here. And Kiko knows about this wall happening, so she's gonna go ahead and throw down that smoke to protect herself and detonate that wall. But now Syracuse knows where these Terps are going to be coming in from, as their Teo is able to get 2 picks, but Carrots does the same thing, and our numbers are even yet again. But that spike is our biggest problem here. We have to get onto that site to detonate it.
All right, Kiko trying to take some space with a Sheriff in hand, finds one and almost the collapse. But meanwhile, Carrots is on fire here, but only around half HP, make that no HP. It's just Savani with 18 HP and the bomb ticking down. She has to be aggressive here, and the Sova's not going to give it to her. And it's a narrowly lost round for the Terps there.
I honestly think Savani could have taken a page out of Syracuse's book for that play. I mean, she was so close to the spike, and I feel like if you are waiting to hear that tap, if you were that Sova waiting to hear that tap, you would want to peek. And if you ask me, real gamers stick. So it's always always the thought of, are they sticking? Are they like just tapping? Are they right behind? Like in that Sova's situation, all they had to do was just wait for Savani to peek out or tap, and I think Savani should have just ended up tapping that round, and it costed them. But either way, I'm pretty sure we're probably going to win this round and be even yet again with an 8-8 scoreline. But let me not speak too soon, as Syracuse doing the same thing yet again, wanting to do a little bit of a P push, but Kiko able to get that first blood pick there, and it's helping the Terps out a lot, as the rest of Syracuse is kind of backing up a little bit and is just deciding to throw in their util instead.
And this time the Terps have tried to rotate to put themselves in a good position to hold down B, but also be aware of what's going on in mid. Kiko does a really good job dwindling down a lot of HP and is about to hopefully finish the job on the Waylay, but herself is only down to 10 HP and she will get picked off. And so does Trace, actually. So it's a lot of damage for the Terps, knowing that Savani has to be a little bit aggressive here and try to get a pick going in the Terps' favor, because look at the Terps' numbers here. We do have an Astra ultimate if we really need to use it, but the Terps just have to work together here in a 2v3, but the Waylay's at low HP, so this is certainly doable.
Most definitely, but I honestly feel like they're going to end up doing that safe plant yet again that they've been doing round after round. But even still, Carrots also getting picked off from Heaven here, so it's all left to Soap, and I don't think they quite know Soap's position just yet. But now that she sent those shots flying and is already stunned, she's unfortunately going to lose that round. And honestly, I think that plan does well for Syracuse a lot. It benefits them a lot, and their buy didn't seem very consistent that round. I did see some of the players having a little bit of Sheriffs, some having some Vandals. The buy was just honestly all over the place, and again, on the Terp side, you did not want to lose that round. But either way, I'm pretty sure we might be on a little bit of a save round here. I could be lying, but either way, we have to get that one more round, or else it's just going to be a losing spree for the next few rounds.
Yeah, these rounds are coming increasingly more important as we start to near the end of Abyss here. Kiko going to detonate those jet knives and try and be the difference maker for the Terps here, as Syracuse has just waltzed their way onto this B site. They're in the midst of planting this bomb, and we are staring down the face of a 5v5 retake. Make that a 4v5, 3v5. It keeps getting worse for the Terps. Kiko still has those jet knives out, so the round has yet to see those come into order here, but still the Terps, it's becoming harder and harder for them to get back into this round with the bomb ticking and their hopes dying a little bit, and it's just a clean sweep, flawless for Syracuse.
Yeah, and like I said, we did end up having to save that round, but either way, that just means our economy is looking a little bit better here. We do have a timeout starting on the Terp side. I honestly don't know what difference the Terps could make. I feel like they can read Syracuse well, but the other thing is just that I don't know how, I just really don't know how the Terps are able to just think ahead, I guess you could say. They could read them, but it's different to think ahead of what they're about to do next.
And I believe we might be able to cut to a coach's cam for one of our GC coaches. We will jump to that soon, but he has dressed up into costume and has committed to the Halloween bit. So excited to get to that when we do. But in the meantime, I do like this timing of this timeout. I think the Terps are very much still in this map. But right now, they've got to kind of flip the script here because Syracuse only needs 3 more round wins, and 3 rounds is not a lot in Valorant. But yes, look, Coach's cam.
Coach Brain Blast here with an amazing costume going on here. We have some posters in the background also just, helping with this costume. And it's, tensions are very high right now. And it's, like you said, I think it's a great place to, call in that timeout.
Hopefully on the other side of this timeout, the Terps are going to look changed, and what a start for Kiko. Gets a really clean pick. Cooking Mama is cooking, you could say. So Kiko backing up into a safe position, awaiting another push to come through, and she's going to have to be patient because Syracuse has the spike positioned on that A site in the face of all that Vice utility for Soap, who has stood her ground here into A heaven. That may be a fight we'll have to see come into fruition very shortly, as Soap does have the read as her wall has been detonated, and that is going to prompt a very fast rotate, maybe even just it could be a fake, honestly, but they're definitely just rethinking their play here.
Most definitely. And honestly, since Syracuse's Vise had that ultimate, I think it's very important to not lose your Vise. And they lost that Vise so early in the round, thanks to Kiko. And I think it's going to be more favored for the Terps for this round as they're walking up mid. So I'm hoping once Trace gets to meet these Syracuse players, it's just a bloodbath against them. But they're just so sneaky, and they're walking right past our Terps, and they're doing it slow as they've already caught a read on Savani here, already watching her as they're throwing in utility into this small space, just running it down. Waylay dashing onto there, losing Kiko, losing Trace, but Savani able to get that trade off. But mind you, 9 seconds left on the clock. They have to plant either way, and with this Astra ult, it's going to be really difficult to notice if they've done so.
Yeah, they have planted the bomb, but like you said, the Terps on the wrong side of this Astra wall, and this makes this very difficult for them to both know where Syracuse is positioned, but also how far the spike has ticked down already. Carrots and Soap waited for that wall to dissipate, and now they have to work together to pull off a retake here, make that just Carrots alone, and the number is just too overwhelming for the Terps. And like you said, I want to go back to what happened in that choke point. That's really where we lost the round, in that small space right there with all that util dump.
Yeah, and it just wasn't a nice look for the Terps, unfortunately. I have never seen so much utility thrown into such a small room. But can we talk about that wall? That was the same wall Carrots had done on the attacking side. The read on Syracuse is very similar to the way these Terps were playing, and because of that, we should be having this advantage. And knowing such information like that, we should know how to work around it. And I think if we ever do decide to call for another timeout, that's something that we should think about. We lose Kiko early on to the round already, and we have the same amount of ults happening already against Syracuse. We have 3 ults the same way they do. Their Vise, again, very low. With such a great kit, you don't want to lose that character at all. But again, it's just slow and steady, just running onto site and trying to, detonate all of those utility to lose it on the Terp side. But either way, it's just too early. It's too early in the round for so much stuff to be happening, and they're not on site yet.
Oh, poor Carrots, just getting absolutely hammered down by utility. She's able to escape with her life, but Kiko has died for the Terps. Bomb is planted. The Terps are in a must-win retake. This round is huge for them, and we will have to see how it plays out. Syracuse is going to play this one really passively gonna go back into A main and wait for that tap to come through before peeking, knowing that the Terps have to be really aggressive with their utility here, try to do as much damage as they can, find their locations, wall off A main for the Terps to try and get this defuse going. Trace able to have it. Is she gonna stick it all the way? No, she's just able to get the half off, and that leaves 2 Terps alive. Trace trying to finish the job that she started, and it's just narrowly slips away from the Terps. The matter of seconds defining that round, and what a devastating way to head into map point.
That was a lot. Trace had that.
Yeah.
She had that diffuse, and then once she died, that Waylay went ahead, did that little recall to see, if somebody else was going to take that spot to finish the diffuse, and they ended it. And I honestly thought that was a great wall by Carrots.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it although it was so close to the spike, it still protected them from, getting slammed down and just freaking spammed on the spike, but so close. Doesn't matter now. We are still able to win this and take this first map home, but even still, Syracuse doing that same play yet again, going on to B, running onto that, that little walkway there, and I'm pretty sure they're going to end up planting safe as they've been doing these past few rounds, and with no ultimates, all they have to do is really just defend this spike and win this round to take it home. But the Terps having that Vise ult and Sova ult is most definitely able to turn this script around yet again, so it's still anybody's game at this point.
And the Terps are going to have to pull out all the stops here, use all those ultimates, knowing that, to look at what Soap's doing, using that Vice ultimate early in this retake. It's a must win. Every round out from here going to be a must win for the Terps. There are no mistakes that can be made from here on out. Carrots going to swing with Tracy and get that pick in Cubby. Now the Terps have access to the spike, but it's ticking down. Once again, they have to defuse it in time. The Sova ultimate makes that nearly impossible, and map number 1 will go to Syracuse.
What a fight that the Terps had put up against Syracuse. But honestly, a big round of applause for that attack round, or for that attacking side. Starting off on attack is just, it takes a lot, and we were able to get a good amount of rounds in. I believe it was like 5 or 6 rounds that we were able to get in, and that's okay. That's okay. We did the best that we can. We did have some good moments happening there, and either way, still a great game. Just such an interesting map to be playing on.
Yeah, it was a great map number 1. I'm excited to see what Split has in store for us. So make sure you guys tune back in after a quick commercial break.
My name is Subin Kim. My in-game name is Carrots, and I'm the controller of this team.
My name is Hannah. My IGN is Tuxedo Sam, and I play Sentinel for the team.
My name is Sima. My in-game name is Care Bear, and I'm a flex.
My name is Megan. My IGN is Giraffe, and I'm an initiator.
My name is Sophia. My IGN is Soap, and I'm an initiator too.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayush. My in-game name is Dulcixo, and I'm the coach.
For me, I think it was just really interesting to see like our names on like social media and like on a website. I'm just like, whoa, my name is on a website but so I think that was like the number one thing that kind of like just, it brought the realization of like what kind of team I'm in, like what kind of position I'm in.
Meeting them. It's like hard to make a woman and non-binary friends in Valorant, so it's just really nice that we have like a team specifically for that.
The studio.
Yeah.
Oh, the studio. Oh, I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that existed until like, remember like when we first talked about the studio, I was like, what's that? When I first went to the room, I was like, oh, there's cameras and lighting. I'm just like, that's
nice computer.
Nice computer.
The monitors
So
are crazy.
true.
Winning.
Yeah.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
Totally winning.
Getting that.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I feel like
was pretty cool.
Hey. I would say supportive is definitely like Dusty and Rachel. Those two, just like making sure we had scrims down, making sure we had practice schedules down. Like Dusty making sure like to pick out what we did wrong, just like, you know, helping us improve. I think definitely.
Yeah, Dusty's a very present coach. So
Very.
It's like he's really reliable and helped us through the whole season.
Thanks, team.
Yeah, you'd even like schedule things for us,
like organize all the schedules.
help us map bands and like talk to
Stats,
them
yeah.
if like realize if one of them was like unranked or something. Breaking
Forfeit
a rule.
teams.
Forfeit
Making teams forfeit.
Maybe we don't talk about that last part.
I would also say like our fans in chat, like on
Oh,
stream.
true.
So it was nice knowing
W
people
chat.
watching us.
And the haters.
Oh yeah.
Improve in the higher division.
Yeah, it is definitely more challenging because we're in a higher division now. But I think we could, like, with our coordination, I definitely think we could. We need to bring home another one of these.
It feels great.
Yeah.
You guys know this is the first title that Terps Esports has won.
Wait, seriously?
And by women.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously? Oh,
First down.
cool.
I like playing Valorant.
Have an excuse to play games.
That's true. That's good.
For me, I joined because, well, like I've always wanted to be on a women's team, especially like since I got to UMD, and me and Dusty had always like tried to make teams work every semester, and this was the first time it actually did work and stuck, and the people who tried out like were committed. So I guess I've always just wanted to be on a women's team to like connect more to that community.
To make friends.
So I had that gap, you know, without a team for a while, and then I saw the form, and I was like, I really want to try this. This sounds fun. And then, yeah, I play Valorant too much. I mean, first of all, I did not imagine me being IGL when I first started, because I am, outside of my Lilac team, I am known as the no-brain, only aim chamber in comp. So I did not imagine myself being IGL. But like, I think it's like, there were some difficulties in the beginning because no one, like, I wasn't used to giving out comms. I was just very confused. But I think now it's just like the amount of trust that my teammates give me when I give out comms and the amount of like coordination that we have. Like, I just love being like IGLing because I trust that things will work out.
everybody, welcome back. So, little mistake, we are actually going to be heading onto Pearl, not Split. And the Terps are currently 1-0 on Pearl, so we have never lost on Pearl so far.
And I'm pretty sure we ended up playing Pearl last game against UNI Purple. We did end up winning that, technically winning that. And I think it was going okay. I think there are some tweaks that the Terps could be working on. I know B is just such a long site to get onto. I know that's something we can work on, both defending and on attack. But I think our A is good. Our mid push, I think, needs to be worked on when it comes to defending it. At least with the way you and I played last week, they loved going through mid, going in through art, and it was just a crazy bloodbath happening down mid.
And actually, we have some very exciting news. We have both of the coaches' cams, both Brain Blast and Kaibok, the two GC coaches, have agreed to share their cameras with us on this wonderful Halloween Eve. And hopefully we'll get that footage at some point tonight throughout the stream. And it's coming, actually, guys, in real time. We're waiting for Coach Brain Blast's dog to cooperate to get in frame. Yes! Look at the dog. So cute. Oh my god.
So cutie. And there is another dog, I'm pretty sure, that she has as well. And this dog just reminds me of Snoopy. Look at how cutie and fluffy and curly. So cute.
Yes, so this is Coach Brain Blast working along Coach Kaibok to help coach our GC Terps to victory. Speaking of victory, hopefully that's what we see on to Pearl. But here is Coach Kaibok. Once again, we did see him in the last map, but look at this costume. Fire.
So awesome. Secret Labs gaming chair as well. Okay, coach, go ahead. I mean, hey, that's what's going to lead us to victory tonight, guys. Like Lily said, I'm honestly hoping we do get to end up winning. We didn't technically get to finish Pearl last week. I know that you and I did end up having to FF due to a little bit of some technical difficulties, but we did end up winning that first map anyway, so a dub is a dub, guys. I think we'll be able to take it home, and with that game, I'm pretty sure the Terps have been able to, scrim more and work on how, they're gonna play Pearl and their team comp. And what I'm expecting for tonight is that there's going to be a double duelist like we've seen last time. It's gonna be Savani and Kiko going double duelist. I'm not quite sure who's going to be going who, but it's gonna be a great play, and I think that's pretty vital to Pearl, considering with all those entries you have to do and how long and how difficult of a site it could really be to get into, especially with all the utility you gotta go against. Oh my gosh, too much to look at. You gotta move fast.
And let's take a good look at our Terps here, most of which still in costume. The cat ears and the bunny ears have come off because we're serious right now. We are locked in. But, they all look great, very festive. And like what you were saying, I think Kiko will be on Jet again. If I had to guess, I think she's very comfortable on that Jet pick. And Jet is a good agent pick for this map. Yes, she will be on Jet, and very similar comp to what we had last time, but we do have a Waylay, a bit of a curveball.
Yeah, and on Syracuse side, a Yoru and Jet pick for their double duelist comp. I don't think I've seen that pick in a long time, so I am a little nervous, and I just don't know what to expect. I do like the KJ on their side, but not to fret, we do have Vise, I'm sure Carrot's going as Astra, and we have a Sova going. These are our comfort picks on the Terp side, so with them being our comfort picks, we have to be confident with them.
And here we are on to Pearl on the attack. Right now, the Terps are defaulting, sending some utility both on that A site and showing presence on B long, specifically Kiko trying to start things off by doing a little bit of damage alongside Carrots, but for the moment the Terps just trying to make noise everywhere and keep Syracuse guessing as to where they're gonna go. We don't even know where they're gonna go yet. The spike is in spawn right now. They are just trying to get a pick. They are just trying to take some space, as Savani does right now on this A site, but she does get killed there. That is gonna make A look very unattractive here for the Terps. They're going to quick skill rotate to B if I had to guess, and Trace will be the one to pick up that bomb.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's as much as, we had to value Savani's life there onto site, it helped us in the long run. Being a duelist is not for the weak. You end up losing your life a lot more than you think, but that just helps with our team's intel. It's high risk and, getting high rewards in the end is what's most important, but so much is happening already on B and so much is happening on A at the same time. Left. So the Terps are going to have to choose between the two and choose where to go, especially with Soap taking so much damage here in Art. A is right there, but the KJ is just hanging on there onto Flowers, and hopefully Soap does not get caught up in that with only 13 seconds left for the Terps to go ahead and stick that plant down.
Yeah, the Terps have spent a lot of valuable time here. They've got to stick this plant, and they're lucky to get control of this A site, but they're losing it quickly with Soap and Kiko both getting killed. Carrots playing this one safe up into main and only works out for 1 kill, but Syracuse will be the one to take round number 1 here on Pearl. And it kind of started off a little bit shaky for the Terps. They looked like they were going to rotate B, and then they doubled back to A site. I wonder what the round would have looked like if they fully committed to that B execute.
Most definitely. And honestly, again, like I said, the Terps have had some trouble, pushing on to B site, attacking and defending D site or B site at the same time. And Jet buying an outlaw already on this map, it's a lot, and you have to play safe with that. When it comes to the Terps losing a pistol round, I feel like it is unfortunately the start of our downfall. And because of that, although we are Deagle demons and we are demons with pistols, it's just not favorable when Syracuse is going to take advantage of all that economy that they've gained by winning that pistol round.
A lot of Astra utility used for the Terps. Savani being really aggressive and dancing around this fade to get that pick and dash back to safety. Some really cool waylay gameplay here early on, but Savani is not done. She is still looking to take this B site there as Soap, her teammate, gets picked off. They are definitely going to be missing that Vice utility in the later stages of this round, but still, they're kind of stuck in mid here. Savani's going to be the one to try and take a little bit of space here and quietly creeping up. Maybe is going to be able to catch this Jet off guard into elbow, but no, decides not to push there. Instead, the Jet will be the one to look down sight and take down Carrots, and is hunting for more of our Terps there.
Yeah, but I will say we did make it a lot farther onto the site this time. Throwing or picking up that outlaw is Savani here. I'm sure she's going to do amazing with that. But keep in mind that Syracuse is full HP right now, both of their last 2 players. And with that, it's, you gotta make sure that Savani is well protected, considering she is basically half health, no shield, and with this walkout, Carrots throwing in that smoke for him. Savani able to sniff him out. Hopefully she's able to do the same thing, but unfortunately isn't able to. Savani was just 1 kill off of an ace there, but unfortunately we did not end up winning that round. But I think it's a much better improvement from losing a first pistol round.
Yeah, but that's a tough round to lose. Savani knocking on the door of an ace, and Trace was still alive, and then to have it just completely do a 180 and to lose that round, it's a tough way to go for the Terps. But the game is not over. They have a lot of this map 2 ahead of them. There's a lot of time to turn things around, especially when they're heading into their first full buy round of the map.
Yeah, and being in this full buy round, it's honestly, you have to win it. Like I've been saying, with these past few maps, you have to win it. There's really no way you can't. And with, Syracuse having, a little bit of an awkward buy, it gives that Terps that advantage. But with this Bucky happening at doors, it's just not fair. Savani, unfortunately, losing her life in that process. But that gun is still, in front of Trace. So it's not like the Fade can just walk up and pick up that gun instead. Our numbers are dwindling as, we're fighting down mid. So able to get a pick, but at what cost when we're not even on a site just yet?
And it is just a tough way to start out this round, trying to get that mid control and being met instantly with a Bucky. Trace still trying to avenge her teammate there. But instead, the Terps are going to have to try and regroup and get this bomb down. Looks like they're going to try to do so. Actually, maybe on this B side, if they can kill this Fade with the Bucky still in hand. Finally, Trace will be the one to do so, knowing that B has got to be open. Now it's just going to be a full-scale sprint onto this B site for all 3 of the remaining Terps. But they have to be aware of this Jet with an Outlaw that caused so many problems in the last round for them. They're able to get out of its sight for now, but Kiko will be the first to die as a result of that Outlaw.
Yeah, and it's going to be 2 against 3 on Syracuse. Make that 2 against 2 now. So thankfully able to kill off that flank. But even still, it's just them 2 against the world right now. Trace already getting her ultimate from doing that last kill and still finishing it off, getting 3 picks that round. What a great first round for the Terps. And like I said, they have to win this round because honestly, if they didn't, they wouldn't have much of a bye the next round. They would have to end up saving yet again. But nonetheless, we did amazing this round. And I think we should take notes on how we decided to execute this, this round. It was a lot of stuff happening down mid, but even still, we moved slowly and we moved fast and won our fights. And it worked out in the end, just doing a post plant on B.
Yeah, and I really just have to commend Trace on her patience again. I would have probably full rushed that Fade and died with a Bucky in the face. But she was really patient, was able to work out in her favor later on when she can take a more favorable fight. But now the Terps looking towards B long, trying to spam that Jet who is able to dash and smoke their way back to safety. Bomb is positioned towards this B side, but the Terps are spread out across the map as it stands right now. Savani gonna dash her way into elbow and gets excited by that Jet and is barely able to escape with her life there. And now the Terps really got to reconsider where they want to push, especially with the Astra smoke up in their face. But it's not looking great on the other side of the map with Kiko getting picked off as well. Terps gotta pull something out of nothing here.
Yeah, but in that meantime, we were able to get the bomb to rotate onto A site. Savani was able to calm, at least to her team, that there's 3 people towards B, while there's just 1 person on A, and it's gonna be that Astra yet again. And every time we always have Carrots being the only one on the opposite site, waiting for the rest of her team, sniffing out and just waiting for some, utility and motion to happen. But unfortunately, Trey slowly following behind, loses her life. Hopefully, Carrots is able to get this KJ, but is picked off. Unfortunately, our numbers are very, very down. So hopefully she's able to get this fight down here in Art. But correct me if I'm wrong, is that an Odin I see from that Fade? There's just a lot happening as our Terps are just losing their lives. Bomb down and just soap in a dream here as Vampy is able to get 3 kills that round.
And we've lost the 3 guns that we were able to save from our buy round to put us at just a tough place economy-wise. It looks like this is going to be a force most of the way for the Terps. And you are right about the Odin being into play. I don't think the Terps were able to get a read on that Odin being in play yet, so that's going to be a surprise to them this round. And it'll be really kind of crucial to see how they respond after that Odin comes into play, as it will very shortly here, as it looks like on this A site.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time the Terps have ran into both a Faded with an Odin. Already pushing up Syracuse, just out for blood. The Jet able to pick off 2 of our Terps as Carrots is able to trade off. But again, that Odin being a big issue. You can only do so much with a Stinger in hand, especially this far into the round. But come on now. And Odin is just not fun to play against, and the Terps have encountered a Fade with an Odin before, and it's just not fun to play against at all, especially on a map like Pearl. Just holding it down and just going through those wall bangs is just not fun, especially now that the Terps are forced to save.
For sure, it's really tricky to counter an Odin, especially when you bet on a full rush on a site and you instantly have to work around an Odin. It's nearly impossible to get any space off of that. This time, the Terps placing their bets into mid, and I do like this play call because maybe they're going to be able to catch that Fade by surprise and take down that Odin if they play their cards right. But their position is completely sold out here, and knowing that the Fade's going to turn around, actually use that Odin once again to just give the Terps so much of a headache. They focus their efforts towards art. As a result of that, they're trying to make this art push work here. Trace has Kiko right behind her here, but they do not have ideal weapons, and that is going to be the difference maker for Kiko and the rest of her teammates here who are still stuck in mid.
I honestly thought a mid push is a good way to go. I mean, if you can't get onto either site, you might as well try mid. But with this Odin hanging onto doors like no tomorrow, it's very difficult considering we don't even have guns to begin with. You just really have to focus on winning your fights, but it's so hard, especially with this little divot here on mid. It's just on mid sewers. It's just not fun to see. And now with that Astra being on A site, the Terps really, you know, I don't think they have enough time to go ahead and rotate onto B site where it's completely empty.
Yeah, and there's just two of them alive. Make that one with that operator, the Odin, all the big guns in play here for Syracuse. And look, Syracuse has 4 ultimates, but so do the Terps. Still, it's just not looking good right now, and knowing that, Brain Blast going to queue up a timeout for the Terps to kind of rethink how can we get ourselves back into this must-win map.
Yeah, and again, good timing for the Terps. I mean, we have both of our coaches in the Discord call right now, so I'm sure that they are, you know, thinking and have been observing how the Terps have been playing so far, but what can you do to counter this? I think, honestly, when you start winning so many rounds, at least for Syracuse, when you start winning so many rounds, you kind of just start playing in the enemy's faces. And I think that's what's happening to the Terps right now, because the Odin play, the op play, like, I mean, as much as we expected the Outlaw to turn into an op later on into the game, it's not fun to play against. And because of that, it's really affecting how the Terps are performing. It's just hard to work around, especially with, you know, our economy going up and down every single round.
And those guns just really limit your options on this map. Having an Odin makes A very difficult to push, as there's the opportunity for different wallbang angles, and having an operator makes B very difficult to push because of that ability to take those long range fights. So I think that's what ultimately pushed the Terps into mid last round, but they were stuck there. It was hard for us to take art because of that Odin. It was hard for us to rotate to B because of that operator. How do we work around these guns?
Yeah, I really like your take there, because it's just really difficult to do so, and I'm sure they've went ahead and kept both guns, because why would you not when you're so up in the game? And we haven't even switched yet. We're still on our attacking side as they're still on their defending side. But what I'm assuming what they've talked about during this timeout is that they're gonna play it slow. I mean, this time having our Vise just work up mid a little bit, almost lurking, you know, waiting for a 1-2-3 go onto this A site would help us a lot, as Savani already using, getting so far onto site, Kiko following shortly behind, trying to get rid of these, you know, players, but unfortunately also gets picked off in the process, and that's our issue. It unfortunately doesn't get to stick with us as we push onto site.
Yeah, the operator getting a 2-piece against the Terps. Soap able to do a little bit of damage and take 2 down with her, but still the Terps really just struggling to find an answer to these 2 guns. And I think that's all it is. I think the Terps, without these guns into play, would be able to take these fights a lot more fairly and a lot more level-headed, but it's just such a curveball. Like, you never know, like, where those guns are gonna be, who, like, you know, if they've given them to different players, and if, you know, those that Fade and the Jet were the last alive like they were in the last round. There's just so many different plays that they can pull, and again, so many ultimates on the board. It's just a really saturated game of Valorant right now.
Yeah, I honestly think this is the most Valorant game I have ever watched so far. Like, the Op Grudge and the Odin play following shortly behind, it just isn't fun, but at least we were able to get Kiko, or we were able to get our Terps just, you know, to walk across that walkway on B long, so, you know, that Jet wasn't able to get a pick with that op, and with that Astra Smoke, it was, you know, we were able to get there unscathed. But even still with this ult, we have to think, we have to move, and, you know, knowing that that Jet is still there with an op, that wall's already down, and we didn't get to make a move because of it. I mean, we probably got some information on, you know, who's where on Syracuse side, but it's not enough to, you know, make a move just yet.
Yeah, the Terps have actually full-scale rotate onto this A site, and there's no Syracuse defenders really aggressively holding this site. They're playing off-site. They're waiting for those angles to come through, with the exception of that Yoru pushing up a little bit. But Soap is able to take care of that Yoru. So this is the best that things have looked for the Terps in a really long time here. They're able to get this bomb down and get in position to hold down the fort on a retake. But the Odin's in play. The Operator's in play. Will the Terps finally come up with an answer against those guns? No, as Kiko gets killed, and the rest of the Terps, I really just want to see them hold on to their lives here, play life, use that KJ ultimate, and let it burn some time.
Yeah, and honestly, Kiko unfortunately losing her life as she was trying to do a flank, but that Jet just expecting it and watching it, so already such low HP getting sprayed with that Odin. It's just not a good look for the Terps. And oh my god, Carrots again hitting all these shots, doing amazing plays as she does. Some would say it's lucky that they lined up, but I think it's skill.
Wow.
I think it's skill.
Because they weren't, that wasn't a collat. She fully killed one and then got her crosshair in the right place to get the second pick. Really, really nice picks from Carrots. And, you know, that's kind of the start that the Terps are going to need to shift this momentum. Unfortunately, Syracuse able to repurchase both of those very annoying guns, but it's a start nonetheless.
Yeah, and once the Terps start winning again, Syracuse is going to lose that economy. And by the way, B is just wide open. Not sure why the Jet decided to move this time, especially repurchasing that op. Same thing with the Fade. And I mean, obviously, they're going to want to stay down mid, but that leaves the Terps flank very open. This Astra picking off Savani right off the bat, kind of like a little bit of a headshot glitch, if I may say, because I didn't see it. But either way, we're on site already. Spike is being planted, but with this Vice ult and Yoru ult, there's just so much happening, going on, and Terps are falling like flies yet again.
Yeah, but Carrots is still in the game, and she can be the difference maker, but she's got a way too much of an uphill battle here. And it puts the scoreline at a steep 7-2 against the Terps.
I will say, though, they did do a better B execution, and we did better than we've done on B site for this round, and we got far. It's just, you know, holding it down is just what's difficult. And even though we, you know, won that last round, we're able to, you know, bonus off of it, we're broke again, even after buying those guns. And it's just such an annoying thing for Valorant, going back and forth and having a team repurchase such annoying and heavy guns. It's just, again, we're gonna go through that cycle of just, you know, saving and forcing, and it's just, it's hard to work around with, you know, guns like that on the other side.
Savani just has a frenzy and is up against an Odin. An unfair matchup if you ask me. She's just able to do damage, and actually left so that Kiko's able to finish the job there. That's a huge pick to start things off, but the Terps have sacrificed a lot of HP to get there, and that makes them really easy to pick off, as we're seeing now. But Trace about to take some space there up into Ard, may have a fight against that KJ, and Savani pulls out the Odin in response and does get the kill on the Jet. And if you don't hate the player, hate the game. You know, you gotta, if you can't, you gotta adapt to what the other team is doing, and, you know, use what's working against you in your favor to try and flip the script. So the Terps are at a 2v3 with spike control, but not sight control. That may change, though, as Trace able to get a really good kill with a classic, and she's going to be able to upgrade her gun right about now, and suddenly this round looks really winnable for the Terps.
Yeah, they do have one player per site right now, but by the way, that Yoru, low HP, picked up that op for their Jet. So, you know, we haven't seen this Yoru use this op at all, so we're not sure if they hold the same duelist, you know, op skills as this Jet does, but they're slowly going to encounter this Astra, by the way, with 10 seconds left on the clock to go ahead and plant. And I know this Astra knows where the Terps are. Unfortunately, Carrot losing her life in the process, and so does Trace. I feel like that could have been close. That was very close. I mean, bold enough for Savani to go ahead and, you know, try against that Fade with a frenzy, by the way, to, you know, get a kill from the Odin, but as much as it worked in our favor, it didn't at the same time. And I honestly just think it was unfortunate, and that Yoru ended up saving that op again. So we're just rich and just reusing the ops on Syracuse side, and it's just so hard to counter.
And, you know, it looks winnable for a moment there. Like you said, when they upgraded their guns, I was like, oh, they're gonna win this round, you know? But it's just so tricky sometimes on that B site. Knowing that that B site can be kind of tricky, Carrot's gonna use that Astra ultimate to try and protect the Terps a little bit, hide them from the line of sight of the defense. And it's working out actually kind of beautifully for them right now. They just have kind of walked their way out onto this site, and they should be able to plant bomb if they act quickly enough. But on the other side of this wall, Syracuse knocking on the door. They're able to take down Savani and Soap, but both Carrots and Kiko get a pick to kind of level things out here. Bomb gonna be planted. Kiko watching that CT push, knowing that the Syracuse players are right there.
Oh my gosh, I think that Yoru has this op yet again. I saw a little bit of an ADS there. So hopefully Carrots is able to sniff out this flank, because, you know, if it's one thing about Carrots is going to make sure that her team's back is watched. And so is Trace, and he's already, you know, scoping in with that op, by the way, and using this utility. It's just not fun. And honestly, what a hit, and what a good trade. And by the way, Astra's the only one left right now, and the spike is planted in our favor, and it's being watched, honestly. So
come on. Diffuse,
right when this bomb gets tapped, you either, you know, get killed or you run away. And it looks like that Astra is going to run away. I love the play that happened here for the Terps. I think they kind of reverse psychology it a little bit. You know, when you expect an Astra wall, you would expect a full push from a team, right? The Terps did not do that. They decided to wait on the other side of the wall, and once that wall came down, it revealed where they were standing, where Syracuse was standing, and it caught them off guard. And once, you know, the players that were left on that site were done, they planted. And I think that's something we should just continue doing for the next few rounds, because it worked. It worked well.
Yeah, it was a much needed round win for the Terps, and you know, they have a long way to go, but it's a start nonetheless. And I think, like you said, they're just trying to do the same thing, do what worked. And it seems like what did work is walking up this B site, which, you know, has been tricky. It's very hard to execute B from B long, but it worked for them once before, and they're trying to make that work again. Unfortunately, though, Savani does get killed, and Soap is in a 2v2 fight here with Carrots alongside her, as Carrots able to help her out there, although Soap is only down to half HP, and suddenly A looks really good for the Terps right now, and they are just running onto this site. They do have to be careful of the Fade's positioning, though, and the KG utility that is present. But if they're able to get this bomb down, I really want to see them play a passive post plant.
But this time, their backside is a little empty. I mean, although the jet is there, they're a little late. And the fact that the Terps are already on site, we're getting farther than from where we've gone. But let's not forget to mention the fact that this KJ ult is already detonated. Kiko losing her life against that jet, unfortunately. And with that KJ ult, it prevented us from planting onto site automatically, and I hope that this doesn't mess the Terps up, because now they don't have a choice but to go on to A here, as this jet is going to be a little cheeky hiding in that corner, and we lose that round because of it.
And it's unfortunate because, you know, you see the Terps win one round, you want to see a run go, like the Terps want to run with the economy working out for them and everything, but it's just really unfortunate to see a quick turnaround like that. And, you know, the Terps just have a lot of work to do ahead of them. This is map number 2 of the series. They lost map number 1. They've got to dig deep right here.
Most definitely. I feel like we should be having another timeout called on us again. I feel like, you know, enough rounds have passed for us to, you know, see how that first timeout went, and it just, as much as it worked for some, like, a few rounds, it just wasn't consistent. It may have worked, but it wasn't consistent, and that's what's stomping us. That's what's preventing us from just going on. And this 9-3 curse is very possible, you know, to bring back up. But either way, the Terps have to prove themselves on this defensive side.
All right, the Terps transitioning on to defense and hoping that it's a better outlook for them as they're really spread out as they should be. Savani's going to be the first one to make contact and spots two of the attackers there, knocking on the door outside of that A site, and it's going to be a quick scale back for Syracuse to potentially meet up with their B players right now, where Soap is posted up and is jump peeking around that corner, spots I think at least one of the Syracuse attackers. So the Terps have a really good read on where everyone is right now, but no picks yet to come through for either side.
Yeah, and this is a different map, so I'm hoping that, the Terps are able to sniff them out on some of their plays, because they're doing similar plays on Abyss here. Carrot's unfortunately losing her life in those few seconds, but it's slow. Kiko about to run into that. Yoru was able to get a perfect pick. Now she's going to be able to flank here with Soap from mid, and I don't think Syracuse is going to expect it, since they're all favored more towards B main more so. But either way, Savani's gonna end up meeting them just solely on as the rest of her team pushes onto site as she makes her way up onto that flank.
Oh, and Kiko just trying to take some space there, but she dies. Trace was alongside with her and has managed to hold on to her life as a trade comes through, an elbow for Soap. Trace does get a pick there, but she has got two players left alive and a spike to defuse and a lot of utility to work around. She's just trying to do as much damage as humanly possible here into this round, make the Syracuse lives a little bit more difficult, but she's not able to get that pick. And now it's 10-3, only 3 round wins away from Syracuse potentially taking the series. So it's a bit of a spooky outlook for the Terps right now, if I do say so myself.
Most definitely, and it's scary. You do not want to be in the situation that the Terps are in right now. And I will say though, I will applaud Syracuse with the way they decided to play B, and they just danced behind that wall, and that wall has been very vital to Pearl, especially on B side. That I don't think they've changed that wall at all since they decided to pull out Pearl, in the map queue, or put Pearl into the map queue, and with that they're using it to their advantage. So already trying to jump spot it, but already took so much damage. By the way, nobody is on B site on the Terp side. They're distracted by flanking and what's happening down mid. Hopefully this KJ is able to lose her life. Trace able to save the day and just finish it off, but they're running down mid. We have so many of Syracuse players watching down mid already, again with an outlaw. This is something we've seen last round, but this time it's the Fade holding on to it.
The Terps have got to take some space here if they want any chance to get onto site, and that's exactly what will be the difference maker. That outlaw finding 2 picks there for the Terps, tried to get back onto the site. Now Savani just has a stinger in hand, and it's not enough to give her the edge. And it's just a bit of a snowball effect right now for the Terps.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with how fast Syracuse commits onto a site and with how far up they push, while they're planting the spike, actually, I think it just confuses the Terps a little bit. I mean, they should have gone mid instead of going flank, and I think that's what really messed them up. I think flank, you should wait for a mid push just a little bit, and once your teammates get that far into mid is when you can start doing that flank, because the rest of Syracuse is focused on that mid push while they're planting that spike. So either way, they're distracted. But nonetheless, we have a better setup here. They decided to full stack onto B side, on the Terp side here. And I'm pretty sure this KJ on Syracuse side isn't quite knowledgeable of that. They don't know that yet. They don't know that A is just wide open to an outlaw here by that bait yet again. And Terps gonna expect that, but they're slow. They're not gonna peek out just yet. They're gonna wait for more action to happen before they decide to peek out.
And I like this play call from the Terps as long as they're aware of the potential flank that could be happening. Although it is difficult with Trace getting killed, I think that's a good idea from the Terps. They just were kind of unlucky in the sense that they had 2 lurkers for Syracuse that really just kind of sold out everything the Terps were doing. And now the Terps have to deal with those two lurkers. Carrot's almost making contact with that Yoru, and I think is actually about to, and it's even fight with a Ghost versus a Sheriff. So Carrot's gonna peek out and narrowly dies there. Savani's trying to avenge her teammate, gets a headshot, but not quite enough to finish the job. Suddenly the Terps are in a very unfavorable 2v5 retake. Bomb is ticking, not great weapons in hand. It's just all crumbling down right now for UMB.
Yeah, not a good round here. Mind you, there's only just one more round left for Syracuse to win in order to take home this, both maps. And, it's not a good look for the Terps, especially, like you said, those two lurkers and those two flanks just didn't help. And I think it just was unlucky that the Terps decided to, just full stack B, not pay any mind to A. But because of that, when they rotated back onto A, they didn't know where those lurkers were, and it messed them up. Even if they ended up encountering them, damaging them, they didn't get that kill and they didn't get that round. So either way, we got to think differently, and because of that, the Terps are trying to push up onto A main while the rest of Syracuse is quite literally about to run down B-long. And with that, the rest of our Terps are not, here yet, and it's just a waiting game. You have to get here, you have to quickly rotate, and as controversial as that may sound, for, a comp game like this, it's just, you got to take these risks and get onto that site.
And right now we're seeing just so many trades come through on this B site. Right now it's 3 players alive for each team, so not all hope is lost for the Terps, but they're gonna have to pull off a retake here. A spike is planted. There is an operator in play that the Terps are now aware of. They have to work around these smokes. They have to work together as a team here to try and pull off this retake. Savani's able to take that operator down. This is looking more doable, but Kiko gets killed, and now Savani gonna use that Waylay ultimate to try and help herself and Trace out into elbow as Savani unfortunately gets killed, and so does Trace. And it's a tough loss for the Terps, especially with how close map number 1 is. But regardless, we still had fun in the studio, and I think the Terps just have to move from this one and learn from it.
And you hate to see it, honestly. It's so hard to see how successful they started off on Abyss, and to see that it didn't move on to Pearl is just very heartbreaking. But either way, the Terps are still in good spirits. It's Halloween Eve. Everybody in the studio is dressed up, even the coaches, even if they are not here and we just see them through the screen. The vibes are still good, the vibes are still up, and it's just a nice spooky month and spooky few days ahead of us to celebrate. And honestly, a dub is a dub. Congratulations to Syracuse. Another look here at Coach Kaibuck's amazing costume going on, and it's just, it was a good run. It was a good run.
For sure. Very fun series to watch nonetheless, and we appreciate all the efforts that broadcast and the players has put into making this a super fun Halloween stream. Another good look at our players and their dedication to the spirit of the holiday. We're really happy that we were able to get GC in today into the studio, knowing that they would really bring the heat for Halloween. So we want to thank you all for watching, and make sure you guys tune in next Thursday for some more Valorant. But we also do want to thank our sponsors as well. We have to thank the Philip Merrill College of Journalism. We also would like to thank Playwire. Last but not least, we want to thank Recwell. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.